Avi Meyer's Sonny Hirsch Election Special, and we're doing a series of at least 5 different shows before the election to highlight as many candidates as we possibly can. We're getting so swamped. Who knows how many shows we might wind up adding, but we think it's very important for you to be able to see as many people as you possibly can, and we put particular emphasis on the judiciary. The reason we do that is because these people can affect your life more than anybody else. I mean, whether it's your freedom, your marriage, custody of children, life, death, property, mortgages, things like that, financial disputes, it's just so important. And 40% of people don't even vote when they get down to the judicial part of the ballot, and that's out of how many people that don't vote in the first place. So your vote really, really counts when it comes to judge. And it is a pleasure to introduce you to somebody we've had on before and somebody we think very highly of. We're talking about a candidate for, you're running for Circuit Court?
That's correct.
Circuit Court, Edward J. Maloney. How are you?
Hi, Abby. How are you? Good to see you.
Good. A pleasure to see you. And, thank you for coming. And
my pleasure.
How are you finding, well, give us your background.
Well, right now I'm a Cook County State's Attorney. I've been a State's Attorney for 22 years. I'm in the Special Prosecutions Division now. I do mostly identity theft prosecution. I also do some civil prosecution involving people that have been victims of consumer fraud, like home repair fraud and various licensing acts and Fair Credit Acts. So I represent consumers in civil court, and I prosecute people that steal people's identities. Mostly the elderly are victims in criminal court. Prior to that, I was a civil attorney for Cook County. I did medical litigation. I defended Cook County Hospital and doctors and nurses there. And I defended them in state and federal court. Prior to that, I was a criminal prosecutor at 26th Street for approximately 15 years, where I was in court every day managing a caseload of probably 300 or 400 cases. Prior to that, I was in appeals, and prior to that, I was in law school at night going through law school, and was lucky enough and privileged enough for the state's attorney to hire me, Cecil Partee. This is now my 4th state's attorney.
Oh, wow.
Anita
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yes, very nice man.
Yeah.
Good man.
Wow. Anyway, no, it's a pleasure to have you here. You were talking about identity theft. How does somebody steal somebody's identity?
Well, in a lot of ways. I mean, there's the people that do identity theft are very good. They have websites where people can go to that look like legitimate websites, and people, they look like charitable websites, and people are trying to be good people and nice, and they'll give their information to the websites in order to give to various charities. And of course, the websites are not the charitable websites like the Red Cross or something like that. They're a bogus website, and when people give their information and they've got your information or somebody's information, your name, your date of birth, your Social Security, and once they've got that, they've got your identity. That's one of the ways, and we've been trying. The internet's a terrific thing for all of us, but but you have to be careful, and especially if you take care of somebody who's an elderly person who's new to the internet. A lot of us are new to the internet. I am too. You have to be careful to watch them and to monitor them and to know what websites they're on, and to be very careful about who you give your information to. And that goes for everybody, not just the elderly.
One of the things I'll point out, and I'm not so new to the internet, but the fact is that I'll get stuff, and sometimes, let's say I did business with Amazon, and I'll get an email from somebody saying, Amazon, this, that thing on your order, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And they're just sending out thousands of these, hoping that, somebody will get tricked by it, which they do. When I see something like that, because these companies will not really ask for your name and phone number and Social Security number and bank account number on the internet. Under options on the board above, you can click View Full Header. Click down the menu, click View Full Header, and then if it doesn't say the things from Amazon.com, which it won't, half the time they're for some country behind the Iron Curtain.
Correct. That's right.
And, when you see that, it's like mark it as spam.
And get rid of it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, a lot of these identities are very sophisticated, and you have to be careful. So we're trying our best to round up as many as we possibly can.
No question about it. So what made you decide you wanted to be a judge?
Well, I was in court. I've been a lawyer for 22 years, and I've been in court. I was in court almost every day for 17 years when I was a criminal prosecutor, and I saw how a good judge can have a positive effect on society. I've seen how a good judge who runs a courtroom where each side is in an environment they can do their job, how that benefits our society, and I would like an opportunity to do that. I think I could do that. I think I could do that well.
And have you been going to the bar ratings and all the rest of it? And
oh yes,
yeah.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of paperwork you have to fill out. There's several bar groups that do judicial evaluations, and everybody that's running for judge, of course, has got to submit their credentials and get interviewed by all the bar groups. I have done that, and I have been either found highly recommended, or qualified by all of the bar groups that do.
Yeah. He's got really good ratings, that I know.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I do my homework, that's for sure. I mean, there's an awful lot of candidates to cover. You know, it's funny, I was doing my snail mail list, and there's so many, ordinarily it'd be weighted heavily toward regular politicians and not judges.
Right.
This time I found of the 80 people on the snail mail list, I've got 54 judges and 26 others. So there's a lot of races this time around.
Yes, there are, absolutely.
And so you're hitting the campaign trail?
Yes, I am. It's it's been a lot of fun to try to go to as many events as you possibly can, and certainly you meet a lot of politicians, but you meet a lot of people too, and you meet a lot of people that are voters, and a lot of people that really appreciate that you as a judge are talking to them, you as a judge are encouraging them to, or you as a candidate for judge are encouraging them to find out as much as possible about the judicial candidates, which is extremely, as Avi said before, extremely important, and all of us that are running for judge would welcome everyone who's a voter to please look us up and find out as much as they can about us.
No question about it. And before I forget, I want to thank very much Tom Stapka, who helped introduce me to you and help with a number of other things. And hey, Tom, I do appreciate all the help, and thank you so much.
Oh, he's a wonderful guy, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom. I would say that too.
So you have a website?
Yes, I do. It's www.edmaloney4judge.com.
EdMaloneyForJudge.com. And I like to point out to people that there's another Ed Maloney running in a sub-circuit race, if I'm not mistaken.
That is
and
correct.
You're Edward J. and he's Edward M.
That's correct. He's Edward M. and I'm Edward J. Another good candidate, and I know him, and he's a very good lawyer. So
interesting. No, him I haven't had any contact with at all, but I just thought it was interesting because when I first started to look you up,
right,
right. I saw the J and the M and all the rest of it.
Right.
So. Okay. Do you find how do you find events to go to?
Mm-hmm. Well, Tom has been helping me out a lot. He's a guy that's my campaign manager, and he's helped out a lot with the information. You can look at various websites, and you just kind of go to as many as possible and try to expose yourself politically and meet as many people as you possibly can. And that's what you try to do. Well, what I try to do is I talk to people and answer as many questions as they have and encourage them to go to my website, but also to go to the CBA and the Alliance Bar website to get as much information as possible. So,
by the way, I also want to point out that he's a real big baseball fan and very knowledgeable. And he was the last guest in our last shoot, and I think we wound up talking like baseball from various decades for about 40 minutes afterwards.
Yes, that was very enjoyable. I will say that. So
no, for sure, you really know your stuff, and I tend to think when you know something like that well, it probably lends itself to other categories like the law and things like that.
Well, I appreciate that. I have my father to thank. He took me to a ball game when I was 4, and the rest is history. So.
Wow. No, you got me beat by 4 years. Didn't quite go that soon, but then again, my father was born in Europe, and the first time I told him I was going out to play football, he was really excited. He thought it was soccer.
Yeah, that's right. That is football in Europe, that's for sure.
So that's a whole different deal.
Yes.
So once again, if people want to visit your website?
Yes, it's www.edmaloneyforjudge.com. My punch number is 15156, and I'm running for Cook County Circuit Court Judge, countywide, in the Aurelia Paczynski vacancy.
Very good. And I want to thank Sonny Hirsch,
Yes.
who's producing the show, entire technical crew and all the rest of it. And stick around. Coming next, segment 3. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Good to see you.
You too.
All right.